Alrighty, so here's the next day or two. We did find slope and y-intercept. So, some of these are hard to do. Some of these are pretty darn easy. Now, I don't have a problem with you missing the hard stuff. It's the easy stuff that drives me crazy. Just pure crazy. So, slope and rate of change are the same words. There's a bunch of words that represent slope, and I made a list on one of these packets. In fact, let's see if I have it close at hand. Yep, it's on the other one. I'll grab it later. So there's lots of words for slope. You got meow, per, each. By the way, meow is m, each, cost of one, and if you work hard, your kitty will purr, and those are all good slope words. How about rate of change? Constant rate of proportionality. How about unit rate? How about miles per hour? How about direct variation? How about slope? How about the letter M? All good stuff. And then your y-intercept, okay, that's just where the line crosses the y-axis. There's really nothing to it. And remember, this one up and down is y. So that y-intercept is -1 and that one's 3. There's not much else I can talk about. So let's kind of play with these. Now I was looking at this question here. It asked the kids to find the slope. And for me, I'm not going to play too much with this formula. My kids have issues with subtract signs and negative signs, and it's just not a battle I want to play with right now. And so that's how we're playing with slope. We would be looking for two pairs, so two ordered pairs. And by the way, they would go like this, left and right. You don't put them up and down, you put them left and right. So that would be one ordered pair, and that would be one ordered pair. And in fact, I'm going to put a 1 here for the first ordered pair and the second ordered pair. And then you would go to linreg, list 1, list 2, y1, push enter, head to the y equals button, it'll give you the answer. And if I'm looking for slope, pick M. If you're looking for the y-intercept, pick B. That's it. All right. Down here is a screenshot of positive and negative. If you look at this one, I've got yay, so I got my hand waving over here, and yay is positive, like yay, go team. And this one here, I've got nay as in nope, terrible. So there's my yays, there's my nays. Nays are negative, yays are positives. Alrighty, next page. This stuff is pretty straightforward. Let's play. I want to go to the questions. Here we go. Like question 1. It says, what is the y-intercept? It's on the piece of paper. How can you miss it? So the question is, where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, maybe there. I think that's 4. Now, if you look at your answer choices, answer's A. What about 3? That's a good answer. For x-intercept, that's the y-intercept. And lots of times when I talk about answer choices, I want to discuss, what are good answer choices, what are bad answer choices. That has a 4, that one has a 4, that one has a 3, that one has a 3, that one has a 3. Where'd you get the 8? And better question, why would you pick it? Usually the odd man out is the one you should delete. I wouldn't be picking something that's a lonely only. Not on my paper, I wouldn't. Look at question 3. Now, anybody have any great ideas how to solve that? Well, let's think about it. Maybe you could do lin. Maybe you could. As in lin reg list 1, list 2, y1. Now, I will say this. Some of you might have been taught with just lin reg. You want all of those features because lin reg does one thing. List 1, list 2, y1 does everything. And when you go to your calculator, I need list 1 and list 2. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not going to work. So you have to rebuild it. Yeah, no, you have to work. There's your X, there's your Y, there's list 1, list 2. And so I need all the X's replaced in that order, going up and down, not left and right. And reminder, those are best friends. They stay together. So you've got -4, and then you've got -2. And then you've got 0. And I'm just going to finish the X's. Then you got 4 and then 8. And then the other side was -2, -1, a 0, and then +1. I would double check those because it's really hard to do it twice. When you knew, you should have checked your work before you left the screen. And they look good. So let's talk about how to put those in the calculator. Yep, I have a calculator. By the way, that's TI 83 plus. Hey, there's stuff in here. Okay, I'll make it go away. It's gone. 2nd plus 7, 1, 2. So I'm going to go to Stat, Edit. I want to put all that data in. So, as they say, start typing. You have negative 4, 0, 4, 8, move over, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. Now, a couple of comments. Make sure they end evenly, because if you have 4 over here and 3 over here, it won't work. It has to have the same sets. You got to have equal sets, equal pairs. They got to match. You can't have 4 on one side and 3 on the other. It will say error every time. I would double check your table and your calculator. So you should have negative 4, 0, 4, 8. I do. And then I should have negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1, and I do as well. So then you're going to go to what? I'm doing len reg, right? So stat, cal, 4. There's len reg. List 1, that's second one, by the way, comma. List 2, that's second one. By the way, if you forget the comma, you're going to be leaving that check mark off too. Comma. Where's y1? If you think about y1 and half of it looks like a v, go to vars, a y vars. By the way, vars is variables. And then it is a function, enter, enter. When I pushed enter, it processed it. Now, if you only did len reg, you would only see this screen. But since I did list 1, list 2, y1, it'll feed my y1, it'll feed my graph, and it'll feed infinity. Life's good, especially when you get all the answers. Let's go back to y equals. I got 0.25x plus negative 1. Y equals 0.25x plus negative 1. Perfect. And yep, being sick, I need to double check everything. So, by the way, here's 1/4. That's 1/4. Here's negative 1. They're both right. What are you looking for? You're looking for the y-intercept. What letter is that? Is that M or B? Because this one's M and this one's B. And you better be looking for the y-intercept, so that would be B. Answer C. If you're picking D, you need to reread your question. If you're picking the other two, I don't know what to say. Let's do another one. Question 5. Any guesses, huh? Well, let me think about it. We could do L, I, N, maybe len reg, huh? Let's put those in len reg. Off you go. Be mindful of this griddable. That's like Diet Dr. Pepper. Dollars, dimes, pennies. What about that one? What's the y-intercept? You know, and they gave you the ordered pair. And yes, you could do this. You could put 0, 5 here. And you could put 4, negative 5 here. Sure could. But I can tell you, B is 5. By the way, do you notice that? Think about B is 5 as in 0, 5. It's right there. Anyway, so by the way, if you look at your answer choices, 2, 5, 2, 5. Yeses? Nos. So 2 in, 2 out. What about the slope? I don't know. Both say negative. Well, definitely nay. Wish you would have been positive. That would have been perfect. Yeah, now you need to go put that in. Go to list 1, list 2, and go to len reg, list 1, list 2, y1. It'll give you the whole equation. And I believe the answer was B. And we had lots of problems with that, so let's play with that one. Stat, edit. You know, and I got stuff in here. How do you make stuff go away? You could go up, push clear, enter. You can also clear the whole calculator. There's several different ways. That's easy. I need 0 and 4, right? And so I'm going to get back over here. I need 0, 4, and then I need, I don't remember, 5 and negative 5? Yep. 5 and negative 5. And if you type in the little subtract sign for negative, it won't work. So go back to stat, cal, 4. I want list 1, comma, list 2, comma, vars, y-vars function, there it is, enter. I like to read from the y equals. So I need to write down negative 2.5x plus 5. So y equals negative 2.5x, done forgot, plus 5. But you have 2's and 5's, and I have a 2 and a 5, but look what I have. I'm sorry, it's off screen. My answer's in a decimal. Theirs is in fractions. So you need to go, there's a couple of ways. Number one, isn't that $2.50? Yes, it is negative, but it's nonetheless $2.50. How much money is 2/5? That's 40 cents. This one here is 2.5. So the answer is B, but I had several kids picking D. So a couple of comments. If you go to the home screen and type in 2.5 and you want to change that to a fraction, you could just go to Math, Fraction, Enter, and if I can get the screen to quit glaring at us, 5/2 is your answer. So that's kind of nice too. Question 9. We had a bunch of kids complain that this was a hard question, and I would agree. Somebody withdraws the same amount of money from the bank each week. The graph shows the balance lasts 4 weeks. And for me, I'm looking at the title. You got savings, you got weeks, you've got amounts, you got some polka dots. And then it says, what is the starting balance in her account at week 0? Starting balance, we'll just mark that. Wouldn't that be, I don't know, B, maybe, as in y equals mx plus b, as in the y-intercept, maybe? Yeah, those would be the same flavors. So I need this, it's right here on this line, and I'm going to draw it, but not try to make a mess here. It's where these are going to cross. And so, you can predict it's kind of doing that. And you can see I kind of marked where it would be. It's kind of, and it's kind of even high. It's going to be in that area, because you're trying to graph that line. Probably a good idea would have been to use a ruler. Now that second line looks way better. This one looks terrible. You can tell it's definitely too steep. So for me, that's a great idea. And I can tell you my answer choice is like 350, the most popular answer. Yeah, right. So all these polka dots kept climbing and then it just stops. No. And then 375, 400, 425. Those were kind of close. This was forget it. So for me, I'm just going to go to a table. My calculator does a better job than I do. And so that one I like, and I like that one. There were whole numbers. And remember, when you put this in, that's going to be x first, y second. So that's 2, 350. And I believe the other one was 4 and 300. And when you put it in, you get, let me remember it. It was like y equals, I think it's negative 25x plus 400 or something like that. So, and the kids were debating on what we should pick. Well, let's look down there. How many negative 25s do you see? Yep, me neither. I didn't see any. How many 400s do you see? Well then, I guess you pick B. Because you're really looking at, is it an M or is it a B? And since they don't have M listed, I would kind of hope you would pick B. Alrighty, so my next lesson, I've got writing linear equations. They fit together. You've got y equals mx plus b again. And yep, kind of the same stuff. So let's go. Question 1. It says, which of the equation line contains these points? Don't you think you could take these points and put them in a table? Do list 1, list 2, as in like len reg, list 1, list 2, y1? Now, I will say this. How do you get 0, negative 5 in that graph? Do you put it left to right or up and down? I've seen both today. There's only one that's correct. The correct answer would be 0, negative 5. Alright, so you've got 0, negative 5 should be in that top ordered pair. You're going to put them side by side. We don't put them up and down. That's only if you want the wrong answer, and I don't think you do. So 0, negative 5 would go here. 5, negative 3 would be your second set. And again, that's your left and right. You can ask Jose about left and right. And so, alright, so I've put them in my table for you, and I've got 0, negative 5, and I have 5, 3, and you can see that on the screen. Be mindful that you put the negatives in and make sure what's positive. So the last two are negative and the first two are positive. If you leave the negatives out, it's definitely not going to work. So you're going to go to Stat, you're going to go to Calculate, you're going to go to len reg, then you're going to list 1, comma, list 2, comma, then you're going to go to vars, yvars, function, enter, enter. I like the y equals button. It's easier to read. So I've got 0.4x plus negative 5. 0.4x plus negative 5. Now, I'm looking for just pretty much the equation. I mean, I'm looking for any pieces. Negative 5, wouldn't that be this one or this one? Definitely not these two. 0.4, is that 2/5 or is that x? Definitely B. Now, if you're not sure how to change 0.4 to a fraction, again, go to your home screen, type in 0.4, go to Math, Fraction, Enter. There it is, 2/5. We get that on the screen for you. Perfect. Look at question 3. The value of y is 4 less than 1/3 of x. We made a list of the numbers you need. You probably need 4, you probably need 1/3, and less means subtract. Now, if that's true, that one would work, but is that a subtract? So that one's wrong. Maybe. We don't have an 8, so I'm going to have to pick choice C, and that was it. So those are kind of nice. What about question 5? Is that our table for lin reg? Sure it is. Let's test it. LIN.